Welcome to the video series of Azure Fundamentals. In this video, we are going to discuss the different cloud computing paradigms, that is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So stay tuned. Now, continuing on with the cloud concepts, we need to talk about the different ways that you can run your code in the cloud. Now, you might think, well, I have a Windows server here with my server room, and I'm just going to get a Windows server hosted in the cloud. And that's certainly the easiest way to migrate into the cloud. But you might want to consider just packaging up your code and letting Azure run on its own hardware, or even redesigning and re-architecting your code so that it runs as a microservices. Now, there are a few different computing paradigms when it comes to cloud computing, and those are infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So first up is infrastructure as a service. That's abbreviation IaaS. Now, these are typically infrastructure, which is virtual machines, networking, load balancers, firewalls, etc. All of those things that you would have to purchase and install within your own data center or within your own corporate environment that you're renting. A thing like virtual machine is basically a Windows or Linux operating system that is bare. It does not do anything by itself. You have to go and develop the software or install the programs to get it run. So that's the lowest level that you can get within a cloud environment, and that is infrastructure as a service. Now, the next higher thing is platform as a service. Now, platform as a service basically means that you just have to upload the code and the cloud provider would take care of executing it. So these are typically things like web apps. You're going to upload the code and then you upload some configuration and the cloud provider will execute it. But you don't have the direct access to the hardware. So you don't even know really what kind of hardware it runs on. So basically they give you a promise of performance, but you are not in charge of the C drive or D drive and number of CPUs and all that stuff. Now, the next higher level is called software as a service, or in short SaaS. And these are the types of software applications that you would typically install on your own server. So you may have something like SQL Server, or you might have Microsoft Word or other software. But instead of installing them on your own servers, they are available for you to use within the cloud. So something like SQL Server, it's already there and you're not developing the software. So they provide you the software and you just do the configurations. You create the tables and you also create the databases, the schemas, the stored procedures. Now, obviously there are some code involved in some of that stuff, but you're not like writing C++ code for SQL Server. It's just another abstract layer above the platform as a service. Now, we talked about infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service, and also your traditional IT, where you have your own server installed on your own environment. Now, this graphic over here makes a good example of the compare and contrast. Now, on your left hand side of your screen, you have the server running in your own office in your traditional IT. That means you are responsible for everything. You have to purchase the server, you have to plug it into the power, plug it into the network, assign it an IP address, make sure that the hardware drives are there. If there is any kind of VMware or anything that runs on top of that, and installing the operating system, all of your server software, your own code, your own data, anything that you install. So you are responsible for installing, maintaining, managing all of it in your traditional IT. Now, when you move into the infrastructure as a service model, then basically the cloud provider, in this case the Microsoft Azure, provides you with networking servers, storage, the operating system. So you go online, you go into the Azure portal, you choose a Windows server, let's say 4 CPUs and 8 gigabytes of RAM, and they are responsible for providing all of that. And if they don't provide that to you, then you have the right, obviously, to be upset as well with them and to contact their support. But everything above is your responsibility, especially which is highlighted in blue, like operating system, middleware, runtime, data, and applications. So you're given this operating system, but then you have to go and install applications into it. the C drive, the D drive, your own software, third-party software, setting that up, providing the internet role or file server roles or FTP role, whatever role you want to run it in. Now that's entirely your choice. Now in platform as a service, you're uploading your own code, you're uploading packages, configurations, setting up the data access, but everything below that is highlighted in green is being delivered by the cloud provider. Again, it is another level of abstraction over the infrastructure. We got the software as a service, so something like SQL Server is being provided to you on the cloud as your SQL database in this case, and all of that is provided by the provider, and you are just setting up and configuring and using the software as it is designed. So those are the contrasts between traditional IT, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So the farther you go to the right, the less likely is having a server within your own environment, and more likely it is that you just log on to the web and you have a function that you can just upload code to.